We are in a weather alert day today as millions of people across the United States are currently under heat warnings and heat advisories, including New York City. This is a gorgeous look right here of the Statue of Liberty, and you can see the sun rising. Comfortable now, perhaps, but certainly not going to be the case as the sun continues to get higher and higher in the sky. So more than 129 million people across more than 20 states are under life-threatening heat alerts from the south to the east coast as a large ridge of high pressure builds over the central U.S. this week, otherwise commonly known as the heat dome. So the tri-state area, which includes New York, is also under this heat advisory, and certainly something to be taken seriously. I do want to bring in Fox weather meteorologist Bayne Froney, who is live in New York City with the very latest. Comfortable now, Bayne, probably, but certainly not going to be the case later on today.
Yeah, you know, right now it feels pretty good. We got a nice breeze going. I will say, though, the subway systems, that's going to be the issue for today. I mean, New Yorkers, the heat's not going to stop them. They got to get to work. They got to get to where they're going. But, you know, the subway systems here, that ventilation, it's not great. So when it's incredibly hot out, it feels even hotter down there. I mean, I have my handy-dandy thermometer, and I was doing temperature readings down there earlier this morning. 82 degrees it felt like down there, and giving some perspective, right now we're reading about 81 outside. So right now it feels even warmer down into our subway systems currently. And as we move throughout the next few hours, we're going to see that humidity starting to feel a lot stickier. Our temperatures potentially reaching 98 degrees in the city. A record high for today, 97, so we may beat that. Normally, we're in the mid-80s, so way above average temperatures as we move throughout the next few hours here. So it's pretty early still, but already seeing a lot of people with shorts, with tank tops, people trying to get their morning runs in early. But like I said before, New Yorkers, the heat's not going to stop them. They're going to be out and about all throughout the day. Now, talking about those 90-degree temperatures, usually throughout the entire season for New York, we see around 17 to 18 90-degree days. That's on average, and we've had about 7 so far. So we are still on the lower end. We still have a couple more months of summer to go, so we're due for a 90-degree day, but this heat dome is no joke. So now it's going to be impacting the northeast, but the good news is this isn't going to last too long. We're mostly going to see this for this afternoon and throughout the rest of the day today. Tomorrow, much cooler for New York City. That heat dome, once again, going to shift a little bit more towards the west. So still a lot of America going to be under those heat warnings and watches. Just a good idea to hydrate. Try and take some breaks in the shade and the air conditioning if you can. Avoid being outdoors, or at least being outdoors for long periods of time. That's what we always like to say with this. But for right now, it doesn't feel too bad in New York. Maybe check back in a couple hours, maybe a different story, maybe a little bit sweatier. But for right now, we do have the cooler air on our side, but by the time we get into the afternoon, things are really going to start to heat up. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Bayne, really good advice right there. And just a quick question. I know this might get a little technical, but when it comes to a heat dome, how is it created? Is it something that one can anticipate, if at all? Because I know people are saying, oh gosh, we're just in July. We have a bit ways more to go in the summer. Could this happen again?
Yes, you know, heat domes are basically an area of high pressure that kind of parks itself over a very large area, and basically all of this heat, it compresses. It has nowhere to really go, so it just kind of bakes an area. Think of it as cooking noodles. When you're cooking in a pot, when you put the lid on, it gets a lot hotter in there. That's basically what happens with a heat dome. So right now, we're currently baking pretty well in New York City.
All right, so we're basically like the noodles. Good analogy right there, Bayne. Thank you so much, and stay cool right there. It's going to get hot for a lot of folks. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I did want to share this with you. This is from the National Weather Service out of New York. Take a look. Heat and humidity will combine to produce max heat indices of 100 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Severe thunderstorms are possible this evening, with the primary threat from damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or greater. There is a localized flash flood threat in any heavier downpour. So we're not just talking about the heat. we're also talking about the potential for some serious downpours right here. And taking a larger picture, this isn't just an issue there in the tri-state area. This is a live look right here at our radar system. So we're talking about this heat dome that Bayne was just talking about, as 20 different states are under life-threatening heat alerts. But that's not the only weather concern on this Friday right here. A live look at this radar system, you can see a large storm system making its way across Kansas City. So Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri right now all under flood watches as a slow-moving frontal boundary sets the stage for rounds of showers and thunderstorms into early tomorrow. Forecast models indicate that rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches are possible across the Kansas City metro, with isolated communities potentially seeing more than 6 inches of rain. And because of this threat, NOAA's Weather Prediction Center has also placed parts of northeast Kansas and northwest Missouri under a moderate threat of flooding, or a level 3 out of 4 on its risk scale. And in fact, the National Weather Service from Kansas City sharing this update early this morning, saying moderate to heavy rain continues to fall across portions of the KC metro and surrounding areas, with flash flood warnings ongoing. So a very serious issue there in Kansas, along with Nebraska and Missouri, all under flood watches right now through early tomorrow. Now, most of the activity is expected to remain below severe weather criteria, but of course, there's always a chance that a few cells could produce damaging wind gusts or trigger a brief tornado warning. And as you take a look at this radar system, a live look right here, you can also see a system churning there in the Gulf. This is another area that is on high alert right here. This is a disturbance that is set to soak the Gulf Coast from Florida to Texas with heavy rain and thunderstorms. That is being monitored for possible tropical development. And today, hurricane hunters are set to investigate. They're actually going to be flying into this system right here to investigate further. At this point in time, the National Hurricane Center said that over the next day or so, the system is expected to move generally off the west across the north central and northeastern parts of the Gulf, where some slow tropical development is possible. And by the weekend, forecasters say the system is likely to move inland, ending its chances for development. So keeping a very close eye on this. However, forecasters right now say that there is a low chance for development, for it to become any sort of a storm system, such as a disturbance or even greater on that. So we're going to keep a very close eye on all of these weather issues as we continue on this Friday morning. A live look right here at downtown Atlanta. The sun now really rising high in the sky. 20 different states across the U.S. under those heat advisories, heat alerts. And we, of course, will bring you all of the developments as they happen.